Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith, where I'm trying to duel the Gemini and Delta window at the moment. And we have 3 puzzles left to go. One of them seems to be hiding off on a little island. Right. Right is just straight to Gemini and Delta. So if that's a 1, then that would have to be a 2. And that would have to be 2. Well, let's just see. If that's a 1, that's a 2. That makes that a 2, which makes that a 2, which makes that a 1. 1, 1. And something breaks around there, I think. So start with that as a 2. That could be a 1, that can be a 2. Forces that to be another 2, which forces that to be a 1. That would be a 2. Or a 3. Nope. We have could of course have 3s. That works very nicely for this start bit. This then would have to be a 3. One over 2. If it was a 2, then that becomes a 1. Those are correct because this is a 3. That's another 1. That has to be a 3, and we're done. And we have, let's zoom in a bit here. That's a level 6. That's a level 5. As usual, I'll do the easier one first. Shape bank. All regions must be one of these shapes. And Gemini and Delta. This is kind of interesting. So which shapes here? I can't do that because I have to get the same shape here, and I can't do a T because that would block it off. So this has to be that, which means that one's that. This has to be something different, and I don't think it could be, let's just check, I don't think it can be a T because then it would have to do that. We're getting a real mess down there. So it's probably this one since it's not the S. And this is, I'm thinking it's probably going to lie on its back, but we'll see. This is not the S shape. I don't know if this extends here or here. It's either a T or the, I don't know what to call it, lowercase t. This one can extend in any direction pretty much. Okay, let's have a think about this corner here. I can't put the S shape in because of the walls. And if I put it up there, then I've got an isolated corner. I can't get a T shape in here either, so the only way to do this chunk is either that or that. One or the other of those. But I know it's the third shape. This, I have to get two shapes in. Could be pretty much anything. Okay, let's have a little think about this. If it was that, then I don't have a way to fill that cell. If it was that, then I'm still kind of stuffed up here, I think. If I do that, then we can put a T up at the top. I can put another one of these coming down here. And now I have to worry about that space. If this is lying on its back, then this space has to come out somehow. What you could do, it would force it, I think, to be a T, so not to cut that off. But of course, this one could also do something like that, in which case now that and that very much going to have to, I think, be a T. Means I have to fill that in with that one. That's going to force this to go like that. This has to be a T piece as well, but whether it goes down there or goes down there, it can't go down there because then we have just 3 cells, so let's take that over there. That has to be the third shape. And we're done. And the level 6, which is sort of star-shaped. Wow, that's a lot of Geminis. Okay, this bit is 11, and I've got 3, 4, and 5. 5 and 4 is 9, and 3 is 12, too much. 5, 3, 3 would work. 4, 4, 3 would work. 5, 3, 3 or 4, 3, 3. Is there anywhere I can actually put the 5 in here and it wouldn't just break everything? No. So it's going to be a 4, 3, 3. 4, 4, 3. That way works, but so does flipping it 180 degrees. Either way, that's a 3, so this is not, this is going to be a 4. Let's make the 4s orange, the 3's blue, and add in a purple, I think, for the 5s when I see one. If that's if I flip these over, then I would be putting, let's just do it just to prove. So if I flip this over, then this cell is the same as that and different than that, which doesn't work. This has to go up, and that one can go down. Okay, so this has to be the 5 shape in that case. Nope, that doesn't work. Okay, interesting, because I'd worked out I couldn't put a 5 in the middle, but we have to be the same as, oh no, sorry, this has to be 3 because it's the same as this. I'm being an idiot, as often happens. This is also a 3, it doesn't necessarily have to be the same 3. This has to be 4, which means that is the same 3, and I can lock that one in. That's a 4, it has to go up there. Means that's the 3. Make that the 5, and then that comes down with a 4. And that's going to have to be another 5. And that's a 4. This has to be a 3. And it has to go to the right. That has to not be a 3. I don't know if it's a 4 or a 5. I've got space here for a 5 and a 4. $11. 5 and 2 3s would seem reasonable, except that this can't be a 3, so I'll make it the 5. Got the wrong colours on those. Yay! I have a jeweled Gamma and Delta Gemini and Delta window. I've not forgotten the rose window. I know I still have to finish it. But I'm going to leave that level 7 puzzle for a little bit. Shape bank. Whoa, 24 out of 32. We have some work to do. Let's reveal puzzles, because otherwise I'm never going to see the ones hiding like there. Level 4. All regions must be this shape. Okay, we can't put one just sitting like that because we've got to get round the corner. So then I have to put 3 on one side or the other. And it's sort of looking to me like something like that would work. That is fixed. But I don't know if it extends up that way or across that way. We have 2. I don't think I'm actually being in any way systematic on this. That has to be the corner of something. I put 3 across the bottom here, then I can continue with 3 there. The single corner cell has to extend 3. Now it can go this way, or it can go that way. So I have to get something in here, and I can't get a complete piece. So I'm going to have to do that. And that. It can extend out either side, but whatever goes in there is going to be forced that way. And then so a bit too. I did what felt right and wasn't sure I knew exactly why it was forced. Continue with the white ones for the moment. Two by 3 and a 4 by 1. So 6 and 4. And we have 56. Not really sure what that tells me, but we have some of each. Okay, this area here, that cell cannot be part of a 4 by 1 in any direction. Oops. So it has to be a 6 by 3. That's the only way of filling that cell. 6 by 3, 3 by 2. That has to be part of a 4 by 1. But I don't know if it goes left or right. This could be a 4x1 going straight across if that was. It would be a 2x3 with a 4x1 going off there and a 4x1 coming down here, but that, okay. So that leaves that cell unfillable or that cell one of the other. So it's actually going to have to do that. Means that one does have to do that. That has to be that. And these have to also be 2x3. And that seems straightforward to finish. Okay, that might be it for the white 6 jeweled puzzles. Oh, one of them's only level 3. That can't be an S, because then this corner can't be filled, so it has to be a T piece. That could be either. That one more likewise has to be a T piece. I think to do that. That one's hiding. 6. Not surprised it's hiding if it's a 6. That's a different region. Okay, back with the shape bank. That cannot be part of a plus. That cannot be part of a plus. Five. We have a long L and a long S. So we can put the S in there. If we do that both sides, then this bit is 8, and with 2 size 10 pieces, that's not going to work. That would work. But this corner is no problem. So the other option was start with that one at the top. I think I've locked myself into a corner again there. That. What can it be? It could be that. Which would cut off those two down there. But here we would then get an S shape and not enough space for the L. Interesting. So I don't think that works. That also doesn't work because we can't fill up here. And that's a non-starter. That leaves that bit fillable. But this here can't fit. Sort of feel I have to do that just to get into the bottom of this block completely. But no, that's a problem. Let's open those ones. So if I do that, I'm fine. I can take the S shape out. I can't do that because it's not long enough. If I take the S shape into the corner, then I get grief. I can do it that way around. And similarly, this end I could do that way around. But that blocks things off. this central area is getting quite tightly constrained. And I think that's going to be the actual limiting factor. Yeah, I can't hook around here because that leaves those cells and there's no way to actually fill them. So the question is going to be, how do I get that cell completed? So that would fill in something that's otherwise going to be difficult, except it won't, because I've got to make this still fillable. If I do something like that, then I'm in a mess. So this one can be that L shape. Can't be an L shape any other way, because if I do that, well, we can just do that just. But now this bit isn't fillable, I think. Yeah. Okay, so that's not possible. Pretty sure that one can be locked in. So either goes out horizontally or goes up 2. If it goes up with that, then again those two cells are pain, so I think that one has to be like that. This, we can do that, or we can do that. Either of which look fine. How does this cell play in to anything? We did that, and that, then we can do that, and successfully fill quite a lot of the central bit. But I think doing that has blocked off this one. Yeah. We had something like that. Then it chops off that corner. So, that is kind of a non-starter. That is a non-starter. Space really is annoying. We can't take 3 and then 2 off to the side. And if we take 3 and 2 off to that side, then we get an unfillable area down here. No, that's definitely messing up that. It does have to go across there. And that. Now that blocks this bit up at the top, doesn't it? Okay, that works as far as it went. Three pieces left to fit in here. Ooh. That was quite a tricky one. We left 3 to go. Oh, there's one over here as well. All regions must be a sort of one shape. Right, that's interesting. So we can do something like that. Doesn't obviously immediately break. We can't have this side one coming out to the edge unless we have both of those two together. So that would be and something like that, or the other way around. So this one here I think can only be that way round. Because it's either the top or the bottom right foot would go out here, and the top can't because the bottom right foot would get in the way. So now if I look at this one, I do that. It's not impossible. That also looks not impossible. This one, I think I can do that. It's possible it's two separate shapes vertically. No, they don't quite fit together though. Okay, so this looks like it's going to be that, which forces this one into that shape. And that's getting very messy down here. Actually, this is a good question. Is how do I fill in that corner? Leave those ones for the moment. So this corner, can't take that, can't turn it round, so that is not the top, so it's the bottom right foot. This bit though is tight but not impossible. Eek. I like that once I got going with it. Okay, not a lot to go on with this one. So sticky out bit there. That's one of the possible shapes. It's not the correct one. That's a possible shape. If I did that one, then I can also do this. Meeting that hole is going to be the other tricky part of the thing. Now, this corner would have to fill in, if this is correct, with this one. And this corner we go with that. And with that, that actually is working so far. I need a sort of a solid 3x3 . Okay, that didn't work. I could have done that. I'm wondering if the way to do this one, I think it's going to go wrong here. Yeah. I'm wondering if the way to do this one is actually to mark that off and then take out those two. That's all one region. That's also one region. This has to join up to here. Now the tricky thing is that this could extend out and have the hole on this side. This extends out in a direction. This has a hole and the extension on one side, hole on the diagonal side. It has to be the first shape. But does it can't go horizontally out this way because then we chop this shape up. So those are joined. It can't go out this way, so it goes out that way, which forces this. So those two pieces are forced, I believe. We've got the cutout. So the question is really whether the extra cell goes this way or that way. It could be either. This one has the cutout in one of those. But the extra cell sticking out can only go out that way. So that I think means that's forced. And again, the extra one can be either that way or that way. Those three are solid. We can't go up into this, so we have to come down. That one's now not. Well, we can't go into there because I've decided the cutout has to come down on that one. Why did I decide that? I don't know. So that went up like that. This one, oh no, it can't stick out again. So this one just has to, can't have the cutout here because this can't stick out. Therefore, the cutout's there, so the extension is there. Okay, cutout is there or there. This one, that has to be solid. We have the cutout, extension there or there. And let's pop that in. Cutout is there or there. Okay, which way does this go? If this one sticks out, and that one sticks out, and that one sticks out, I think that works. That sticks out, and that sticks out, and that sticks out, and that's finished. Yay! Now I'll just get through the doorway here. This can only do that. This bit. I think I should do that. Because if it was the Z shape, it's going to isolate something. And because of this wall, this one's also going to have to do that. Oh dear. And already it has gone horribly, horribly wrong. So actually, I should have said is that can be that. It's not a W. It's nothing, in fact. Let's restart this. This one. Can't be the Z. Can't be a U. Has got to be a P. Lying comfortably on its back. I put the Z in here, I isolate that space. I put the U in here. Oh, I missed that option. You can put a U and a Z. And then another U in here. And that one would have to be a P. Okay, this can't be a Z or a U, so that's a P. This can't be a P. What could be a U or a Z? Okay, this one. Can also be Z or U. That can't be a U or a Z. It's going to have to be a P to avoid cutting off cells at the edge. That looks like it could be a Z, but then I have two cells up here. Similarly, a U going up there doesn't work, so I think it's going to have to be a U or a Z going down here. And I either have to take one cell or two cells out of this area. I have to take one cell out. That one definitely takes one, so that means this one goes as that way round. And this one goes that way round. Okay, that looks very much P-shaped. 3 pieces left. These fit in. If I put a U in there and a Z in there, then that works. Yay! And we have another jeweled window. Shape bank, 32 out of 32. Let's just quickly pop up to the end, at least the end so far. I don't think there's a quick way of getting up there. This one, yay. And we have 7% jeweled, 83% silver. Right, so I need to come back to those windows at some point and continue through those. I also need to look at these, but all of that can happen next time, because thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back soon with some more of these.